Good afternoon, Tech Fam. It's Wednesday, October 8th, and you're listening to FLYTECH Daily, the podcast that makes your afternoon smarter in 10 minutes or less. I'm Nick.
And I'm Michelle.
Here are the top 5 tech stories you don't want to miss.
For our first topic, Amazon turns One Medical into one-stop med shops.
For our second topic, SoftBank bets $5.4 billion on robots again.
For our third topic, Tesla's affordable EVs are finally here, kind of.
For our fourth topic, Microsoft freezes Game Pass price hikes, but only in some countries.
And for our fifth and final topic, Apple might be racing into Formula One streaming.
All right, Michelle, let's fly.
For our first topic, Amazon is putting your prescription pickup right next to your checkup.
Amazon just announced that Amazon Pharmacy Kiosks, think prescription drug vending machines, are coming to One Medical clinics in LA this December.
Instead of driving to CVS or Walgreens, patients can grab meds like antibiotics, inhalers, or blood pressure medication right after their doc's appointment, all in one place.
You'll scan a QR code from the Amazon app, the prescription gets verified, and boom, you walk out with your meds in minutes.
Amazon says the machines won't carry controlled substances or refrigerator meds, but they will be stocked based on the most common prescriptions per location.
It's like Prime Delivery, but for your lungs and blood pressure.
So, Nick, what's the takeaway for our prime time patient?
Amazon's turning healthcare into the Amazon experience. Simple, fast, and one click. Pharmacies might just have gotten primed. For our second topic, SoftBank is rebooting its robot dreams, and it's not cheap.
Remember Pepper the robot, the emotional AI with the dead eyes that kind of flopped?
Well, SoftBank just spent $5.4 billion to acquire ABB's entire robotic division, and it pushes deeper into what CEO Masayoshi Son calls physical AI.
That's robotics powered by next-gen AI. Think warehouse bots, service droids, and maybe actual Rosie the robots.
SoftBank already holds stake in AutoStore, Agile Robots, and Skilled AI. Now, with ABB, they're assembling their own robotic Avengers.
The goal: dominate 4 core AI sectors: chips, data centers, energy, and now robots.
So, Michelle, what's the takeaway for our future robot overlords?
SoftBank's not just investing in tech, it's trying to own the physical arms and legs of AI. Next up, robots doing your grocery runs. For our third topic, Tesla's dropping prices, but don't get too excited.
Elon Musk promising $25,000 EV since 2018, but what we got instead are 2 stripped down models, the Model 3 Standard and the Model Y Standard.
They look like their full-featured siblings, but lose a lot, like no autopilot, manual seat adjustments, fewer speakers, no panoramic roof, smaller wheels, and less lighting and display tech.
They're built off of Tesla's Highland and Juniper platforms, but cut corners to reduce production costs by 20%.
The range is still solid though, about 321 miles, and they still charge fast.
So Michelle, what's the takeaway for our EV dreamers?
Tesla's not giving us the $25K EV yet, but it's flirting with affordability by downsizing the dream. Less autopilot, more adulting.
For our fourth topic, Game Pass Ultimate is getting more expensive unless you live in Ireland.
Microsoft announced a 50% price increase to Game Pass Ultimate last week, but in countries like Germany, Ireland, Poland, and South Korea, existing subscribers are temporarily spared.
Michelle, we gotta move, but if you have auto renew on, you'll still pay the old price for now. But if you cancel and resubscribe, boom, higher rate. How's that even make sense?
This carve-out is likely to local laws and around subscription pricing, which requires 60 days advance notice.
So Xbox gamers in those regions can breathe easy, at least for a couple of months.
So Nick, what's the takeaway for our joystick budgeters?
Microsoft's playing it cool abroad. Game Pass hikes may be coming, but local laws are pressing pause on that bite.
And for our fifth and final story, Apple's revving up for a turbocharged move in the world of sports streaming.
According to Puck News, Apple and Formula One are close to announcing a $140 million a year US streaming rights deal, just in time for the Austin Grand Prix.
That would be a huge leap from what ESPN pays, $90 million a year, and could give Apple a whole new lane in live sports.
Well, Apple got more money, so there's just one speed bump. Apple reportedly wants exclusive rights, which means shutting down F1 TV in the US.
F1 isn't thrilled. That service makes money, but Apple wants control of the experience, just like it did with MLS and MLB.
So, Michelle, what's the takeaway for our Apple-pilled race fans?
Apple isn't just chasing the checkered flag, it wants to own the racetrack. All right, Nick, let's wrap up these takeaways.
For our first topic, Amazon's pharmacy kiosks turn healthcare into one scam pickup game.
For our second topic, SoftBank's throwing billions at robots to turn AI into something you can bump to.
For our third topic, Tesla's new EVs are cheaper, but the luxury took an Uber home.
For our fourth topic, Game Pass hikes are rolling out slowly and only in certain zones.
And for our fifth and final topic, Apple may be steering Formula One streaming into the Apple ecosystem.
And that's a wrap on today's FLYTECH Daily, the podcast that makes your afternoon smarter in 10 minutes or less.
Hit the follow and drop a 5-star review because that's the only review we'll accept.
We'll be back here soon. Until next time,
Peace.
peace.